Hello everyone, it's Darkseeker here again, bringing you another Hearthstone video, and this time we are revisiting Loyan's aggro / mid-range Shaman deck. Now this is a deck that I featured on my channel a couple of weeks ago, and I was able to streak with this deck from rank 18 to rank 12, and I went undefeated. I was really pleased with that, so do check out that video from a couple of weeks back, and I went through a little guide of how to play this deck and what card synergies it has. I mean, this is pretty much, you know, a Shaman deck that can be aggro or mid-range depending on what you want it to be. You've got the Tunnel Trog, which has overload synergies with the Feral Spirits, with the Totem Golem, and so on. If you get the early curve with Argent Squire and Trogs, together with Flame Tongue Totem and the overload minions, you steamroll your opponent very easily. You've then got your big threats like the Flame Wreathed Faceless, which is a 4-cost 7/7, only with an overload of 2. Alternatively, the Thing from Below, which is a 5/5 minion taunt, and it gets cheaper for every totem you summon in the game. Yeah, you know, Totem Golem's a totem. Tuskar Totemic Sun's a totem, and of course you have the hero power, so you can end up playing a 0-cost Thing from Below. Such an effective deck. It has card draw 2 in the Cult Master and the Azure Drake, and so on. Really good. Hex for removal. Defender of Argus if you need to save your face. Pretty good. Now, I recommended this deck to a friend of mine called AKO, who is an amazing player. He only plays for, a couple of hours a week, if he's lucky, so he doesn't get much time with Hearthstone, but he is what I'd call a deck innovator. He will take a deck and he will modify it if needed, or will create his own decks. It's what I call creating your own meta. That's what AKO does, and that's what he did here. He put Windfury in this Shaman deck. Why Windfury, you ask? Well, Windfury on the Thing from Below is insane damage. Hey, Windfury on a Flame Wreathed Faceless, that's a 7 attack minion. That's 14 damage. That can give you lethal on your opponent's face. Alternatively, it can allow for really interesting trades on the board. Now, I've not seen any pro players play Windfury in this aggro / mid-range Shaman. This is AKO's own creation. His own thought process went into this to combat the current meta, so kudos to him. A lot of respect for what he's done here. I wasn't convinced, so I wanted to spectate one of his games just to see what kind of value Windfury would have. And so we're going to have a look at that game now, and we're going to see, is Windfury a worthwhile card in this deck? So our opponent is a Druid, and AKO starts off with the Tunnel Trog. Now, he could have started off with the Squire, but if the Druid doesn't have the answer to the Trog, then the Coin Feral Spirit is insane. Coin Feral Spirit means that the Trog gets buffed and it's game over. Oh well, okay, so the Druid had the answer. That's unfortunate. AKO likes to gamble from time to time. He took the gamble. It didn't pay off here, but hey, if the Druid didn't have the answer, as I say, it would have been game over. AKO would have steamrolled. So you play on curve now. That's a good play. Just play the Flame Juggler. Some would argue that the juggle's being wasted there, but I think it's better to play on curve and get the 2/3 body on the board rather than playing the Argent Squire and floating 1 mana. So this is a good play. Oh, well, that's pretty good. The Druid didn't have anything, so AKO there, he must be pretty happy now. So he can play the Feral Spirits here for board presence. That would overload him though for 2, which is not great, I guess. It's not the worst thing in the world. Alternatively, he could totem up and play the Squire, and that's what I would recommend here. That's exactly what he's doing. Okay, so this game now, the pace picking up a bit. You can hear the music changing in the background there. Picking up that pace. See what the Druid can do. A lot of thought going in here to what the Druids play. Mire Keeper. Well, that's board presence. So is it time for Feral Spirits on the board? Because AKO can trade the 2/3 into the 2/2, play Feral Spirit and then push 1 face damage, or alternatively push 1 damage into the 3/3, so one of the wolves will kill it. That changes everything. Rock Biter. Well, now that allows for a clean trade on the board. You can use your face. So using your face there to kill the 3/3, value trade on the 2/2, very good. And he's going to play the Feral. Fair enough. Okay. So now he's trying to push board presence here. Instead of being slow and just toteming up, no, he played the Feral. That's fine. Let's see what the Druid can do. Oh, Druid of the Claw is actually a very good answer because it's an on-curve play. AKO would have to trade his entire board now into that 4/6. That's really unfortunate. It's really, really unfortunate. So, what can he do here? What can he do? If you're not trading the entire board in, I think you just totem up here and pass, I think. The coin would give you 4 mana, but doesn't let you do anything. Can't even coin out the Bloodlust here, so I think the play is totem up and pass. And I guess that's one of the drawbacks of Windfury. It can occasionally stop you doing what you're doing, which is why it's really important to plan out the the usage of overload minions. Okay, that's fine. Greetings, friend, he says. But I mean, in this situation, he wasn't really punished for it. He's just passed the turn. Doesn't change anything really on the board. Well, that changes something. A 5/7 taunt, difficult to get through. However, now he's not overloaded, and there are a couple of interesting plays he can make here. He has access to 7 mana. Now, he can try and draw a card with the Azure-Drake and see what he can do. I mean, that's one potential play. Alternatively, I spot another play, and a more interesting play is Bloodlust and a potential coin Windfury. Now, there's also the Thing from Below that can be played for 4, which is a taunt, but no. AKO going for the Bloodlust play here, and let's see, will he coin it out? Yes, he is. Windfury gets coined. Now let's look at the value on this. This is really good. So, the Argent Squire, attack number 1, kills the 4/4, attack number 2, injures his other minion. And now you just trade the totem in, and then push a ridiculous amount of face damage. Really good play there from AKO. Super duper play there. And I'd argue, based on that play alone, that Windfury, well, totally worth it. Totally worth it here. Well, the Druid's got an answer. Wrath. Well, that's the second Wrath, so if you're counting at home there, that's the second Wrath that you've seen. Always good to keep track of what cards have been played by your opponent. Feral Rage, wow, okay. So the Druid is just wanting to take control of the board, and Wild Growth comes out. I disagree with that play. I think that should have been kept till turn 10 for card draw, but maybe he feels under significant pressure here, so he feels the need to ramp up his mana, so just so that he can play as many things from his hand as possible. And AKO, speaking of play as many things from your hand as possible, that's what AKO is doing here. He could have played one of those cards and totemed up to be slow, but no, he wanted maximum board presence. That's a good play. The Druid clears the board, AKO refills the board. It's a good play. Azure-Drake for a card draw. Swipe? Yeah. Spell Power Swipe for 5 damage. Wow, that's so good. And Hex in hand. Do you Hex the Azure-Drake, or do you just draw a card here? Again, a bit of the issue with there being overloaded. You can't play your own Drake and play a Hex here. That's quite annoying. So I think you do Hex the Azure-Drake. So he's going to totem up first, that's smart. And he gets the healing totem. He gets the best one here. Why is it the best one? Because the wolves, well, they get healed up to 2 health each. That means the hero power from the druid cannot take them down. That's really good. Wild growth for card draw, okay. Ancient of War, wow. This druid is incredibly resilient. Raven Idol, he probably should have done that first, but okay. The druid is being super resilient here. At 10 health, he's doing everything he can to survive, and it's interesting. Cult Master is interesting, but I think you draw first with the Azure-Drake. Yeah, really good play there. Draw first. Tuskar to Tamik is fine, but I think you play the Cult Master here to try and guarantee two draws here. Unless, of course, the Druid targets the Cult Master, and that's entirely possible. So far, I'd say AKO has played this game really well. The question to ask now is, with Bloodlust gone, with Windfury gone, can this deck push the damage that's required to get through these taunt minions? So another Azure-Drake. We've already seen one swipe with spell power. Let's not see another one. I mean, if he had a swipe, he'd have to swipe the Cult Master, I guess. So the spell power wouldn't really get him any value here. Forbidden Ancient. Wow, I got that from Raven Idol, okay. Anyway, we draw a card. That's good. And there's the Flame Wreath Faceless, our first one, I think, in this game. Such a good card. Such a good card. So, evaluating this board here. You draw first. Yep, Azure-Drake. Okay. Totem Golem. Hey, if we had a Tunnel Trog. If we had a Tunnel Trog on board, can you imagine how insane that would be? We've got 3 Overload minions in our hand. So we draw a card. Hey, yeah, that's fine. Oh, that's good. That's really, really good. So, Flame Tongue Totem, which will allow for some good, decent trades here. It means we only have to throw in 1 more minion into the tree. And we draw another card, and look, there's the Trog. Wow. The late game dream, ladies and gentlemen, the late game dream. And AKO is pushing face damage. He ain't trading on no board, he's pushing that face damage. I commend him. He smells blood, he sees lethal on the next turn, and the Druid needs to clear this board. If the Druid can't clear, we just need 2 damage, or maybe 3 if he armors up. Okay, that's a taunt. And that's really annoying. So he kills the Cult Master first. Okay, that's smart. This Druid is just playing taunt after taunt after taunt. How do you get through these things? And unless my eyes are deceiving me, that is a 9 health taunt. Okay. Mulch! Ooh. Yeah, that's a card that I've been seeing more of on ladder recently. Mulch. Interesting. A card that you never used to see before the Old Gods expansion. Anyway, Druid at 3 health. Come on. We can do this. Tuskar to Tamik to begin with. Sounds sensible. You may get something you can... a totem there that could buff the attack. So you could get Flame Tongue Totem from this. Oh, Mana Tide. Okay, I'm not complaining. I would have preferred Flame Tongue Totem, but that's alright. That's card draw, right? Anyway, Flame Wreath Faceless here buffs up the Trog. Totem Golem also buffs up the Trog. So that's a 5 attack Trog, and I think we need to play the zero cost thing from below, so one of the minions has to trade in. I'd value trading in, yeah, I think doing that was correct. Trade in the minion with the highest attack power, just in case it doesn't survive a next turn given a spell or something else, so get the most value from it whilst you can by trading it in. And I think that's it. I don't think the Druid's coming back, so ladies and gents, I think if this is it, the power of Windfury, ladies and gents, and Bloodlust really did help in this particular game. So kudos to AKO for proving that this can work, and that Windfury, not only is it a card that can enable face damage, but it's a card that can get great trades on the board, enabling you just to keep the pressure up on your opponent. Anyway, thanks very much for joining me, everyone, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.